Welcome to the 2020 convention of the American Council of the Blind.
And now it's time for us to have our Acb Annual Address. Most years, you would hear only from your Acb president. But this year, I think it's really important that we kind of transition to a new phase in our organization, and that we recognize that the work of Acb is done not only by its wonderful membership and its countless volunteers and its wonderful committee chairs, but also by the work of its staff, led by Acb Executive Director Eric Bridges. So this year, I welcome the opportunity to share the spotlight with our Executive Director, Eric Bridges, for our, what I will call our State of Acb. I'll speak first for a little while, then I'll turn it over to Eric, and then he'll turn it back over to me for some final thoughts. So what does Acb mean for us right now in the year 2020? It really harkens me back to our mission statement when we were founded 59 years ago. Acb, the American Council of the Blind, strives to increase the independence, security, equality of opportunity, and quality of life for all blind and visually impaired people. This was true 59 years ago, and it's even more true today. We are living the spirit of our founding fathers of Acb. We'll have an opportunity to recognize a couple of them this evening as Acb angels. But I could not be prouder of what this organization has accomplished over the last year. And I want to give special thanks to Kim Charlson and the previous administration and all the hard work that was put in place to lay the foundations that we are building on towards our path to the future. At the fall board meeting this year, for the first time, we embraced a new philosophy inside of Acb of putting together a set of steering committees. These steering committees focused on our 9 key programs and services for our organization. Just to refresh your memory, these are the services that we strive to work every day in order to make lives better for blind and visually impaired people. These are our annual convention, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute, our advocacy program, our member services, where we relate to our members and our affiliates, our information referral and peer support program, led by Claire Stanley, where we're reaching out and developing peer support opportunities across our organization, to our scholarship and awards committees that have done just such an outstanding job of identifying young, deserving students, of honoring future leaders and first-timers, and recognizing those who have given so much to our organization. It's the Audio Description Project, one of the cornerstones of the American Council of the Blind, where we are known as the center of excellence when it comes to audio description. And our acb.org/ADP website is not only nationally known, it's world renowned. And our Public Awareness Committee, where we're organizing 21 different communication channels that allow us to reach out to our members and also reach out to target markets outside of our organization. We'll talk more about public awareness as the evening goes along. We also have 2 support programs, two support committees that support the key 7 service programs of Acb. And those are our management and administration program that's so ably led by our Chief Financial Officer, Nancy Marks Becker. And that's the team that works on our accounting, on our HR, and our back office administration, and our IT infrastructure. But they also wear the hat of managing our thrift stores. And there they work on a daily basis with our Acb ES Thrift Store Board to manage the day-to-day running of our thrift stores, which are such an important fundraising opportunity inside of our organization. And last but not least, we have our fundraising and development program, now headed by our new development director, Tony Stevens. And there we are reaching out, developing relationships, seeking grants, developing individual donor relationships. These are our 9 key programs inside of American Council of the Blind. And I'm going to speak a little bit about the first program tonight before I turn it over to Eric. And that's our annual convention, our convention committee. We had a unique opportunity this year, one that we may never deal with again. I will think of 2020 as maybe the most influential year in the first half of the 21st century. Here we are in 2020 dealing with a pandemic that came upon us very quickly. Back in the February and March timeframe, your leaders began a conversation thinking about, is there a possibility, even an outside chance, that maybe we not be able to have a physical convention this year in Schaumburg, Illinois, which is, by the way, a wonderful venue. And at after our fall board meeting and after our leadership meeting in DC, we started to realize that this could be a real possibility. We scheduled an emergency meeting of our ACB board of directors, and we busily went to work thinking of what could our alternatives be if we could not have a physical convention in Schaumburg. Within 3 weeks, life moved so fast, there was a national emergency declared by our president. In the middle of March, there was a state emergency declared by the governor of Illinois. Still, our Renaissance hotel contract was not open for discussion. When we reached out to the hotel, they were not ready to have a conversation with us about canceling the contract. But our board got together on March 30th, and unanimously, they voted to always take the health and safety of our membership first. And so, after a very lengthy discussion, we voted unanimously to cancel our physical convention in Schaumburg, Illinois. So now what do we do? The initiative of the American Council of the Blind shone through. Our 5 core values of integrity and honesty, respect, collaboration, flexibility, and initiative. Yes, initiative. We immediately determined that we were going to have a 59th annual ACB conference and convention. And we were going to make it the best convention that we could possibly pull together. Our team went to work. At that point in time, we had 1 Zoom account, which allowed 100 participants. We had never heard, or not heard of, we had heard of it, but we had never used webinar. We had an ACB radio steering committee that had pulled together a new beginning for ACB radio under the direction of our ACB managing director, Debbie Hazelton, our technical director, Jason Castanguay, our steering committee manager, Jeff Bishop, and a cast of steering committee volunteers led by Rick Morin, Deb Cook-Lewis, Carla Rushable, and Katie Frederick, with staff support from Eric Bridges and officer support from myself. And we envisioned a future where we could have a virtual convention. We renamed the convention. Janet had a contest. We went to work. We planned and we organized and we reached out to our volunteers, to our committee chairs, to our special interest affiliates. And we challenged everybody to see what's possible. How do we take this challenge and how do we turn it into an opportunity for the future? I'm here to report to you tonight that we have the virtual convention that the rest of the blind and visually impaired community is waiting to have. We were the leaders. We were the chief influencers. We were the organization that put our toe in the water. And we not only put our toe in the water, we jumped into the deep end. And here we are today, a virtual convention with over 1,500 registrants, with 250 hours of live content, with 108 breakout sessions on 5 ACB radio channels, with an audio described tour channel, with 8 hours of exciting exhibits, with over 35 vendors participating, with general sessions every morning and primetime shows every evening that are live on video, streamed to Facebook and YouTube. Congratulations, ACB. You've done it. You should be so proud. I know I'm proud to be the president of this organization. You saw the challenge and you met the challenge. And we are going to have a great ACB convention, a path to the future. And now I'd like to turn it over to Eric Bridges to talk a little bit about 4 of our other outstanding programs inside of ACB and the contributions of the staff in those areas related to advocacy, membership services with our member and affiliates, information referral and peer support and public awareness. Eric, love to hear from you. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you, Dan. This is amazing being here this evening with all of you. I have gone through, much like everybody else that is listening and watching, a really interesting last 4-month period of time. Watched my son Tyler lose his first 2 teeth and my 6-month-old son Noah get his first 2 teeth. Tyler learned how to ride a bike, all within the last 4 months. So a lot has happened in our family, but a ton has taken place within the organization, and couldn't help it but mention the 2 core values: collaboration and flexibility. With regard to the team that I am very honored to work with day to day, we have always shown initiative. And I believe that in order for folks to come and work here and to stay here, they have to exhibit integrity and honesty, as well as be respectful of one another. The flexibility and collaboration has been put to its test over the last 4 months, and we have come out the other side, and we're doing well. COVID-19 presented a significant challenge to the organization and to its members, quite naturally. What we were able to do was utilize the technologies that we've acquired over the last several years to their fullest. So whether it was Zoom, Office 365, Ring Central, our laptops, as well as iPads, iPhones, our staff was able to work remotely without most individuals calling here or emailing here, even knowing that we weren't in the office, because it was seamless. And so I'm proud, not surprised, but proud of the folks that work on my team, both here and in Minneapolis, as well as the contractors. There are several contractors that work with us as well. It's been fantastic. So COVID-19 offered us an opportunity, a whole host of opportunities. I think of them as opportunities and not challenges. The first is, how are we going to engage with the membership? How do we do that? We're not going to be able to be together for the convention. We had just finished the DC Leadership Conference when we were forced to shelter in place on March 16th. And so what wound up happening was Cindy Hollis and I had a conversation, and it was really her idea to start having a couple of community calls just to sort of see what sort of reaction we could get. We had had other community calls, but not with any great frequency, and they'd been successful. So we had 2 the first week. They went really well. She came back, she's like, wow, this is cool. I think that this could work. Well, now it has grown into a monster. the best kind of monster you can imagine. The level of engagement that we're currently seeing with our members, as well as folks that have not been members that are now engaging with us, is unlike anything I've witnessed in the 13 years that I've worked here. It's been organic. The sessions have ranged from support groups for widows and widowers that a great member of ACB, Roger Dennis, has begun to lead over the last few weeks, to Let's Talk Sports with Dan and Eric. I'm kind of partial to that one, Dan. To arts and crafts, as well as talking through other issues that concern our members and folks within our community. So it has been amazing. We're getting upwards of a couple thousand people a week now on these calls, upwards of 50 calls a week. Would like to recognize Cindy Hollis for all of her work over the last few months, but really over the last year. We welcomed her on June 10th of last year, and she's hit the ground running. Public awareness. The work that has been done by the Public Awareness Steering Committee has been tremendous. And a lot of their work, while they have a defined role within the organization, is to support the other steering committees. So whether it is, in fact, the work of membership and assisting in the creation of the ACB Facebook community. By the way, you can go and search Facebook ACB community to join our group. Within a little over 5 days, we had over 500 individuals that had joined, and now we're over 700. So there's something real and tangible that's happening out there virtually, where folks are making connections and they're feeling wanted and they're feeling engaged, which is just tremendous. As well, we're going to be announcing a blog. ACB is going to be producing a blog that will take place likely just after this convention is over. But our summer intern, Anthony Corona, which is great to have him on board, has been working with Tony Stevens on that, as well as Kelly Gask. The work that Kelly Gask has done over the last year with regard to social media, Facebook Live. By the way, we're on Facebook Live right now. Did you know that? Pretty cool. It's been tremendous. Whether it's Global Accessibility Awareness Day, we did a Facebook Live for that, or whether it's dealing with the stuff that's going to be coming up regarding the ADA 30th anniversary, which we will be participating in, and everything in between. Facebook Live's dealing with guide dogs. Who doesn't love watching a guide dog? Anyway, a ton has been done. And before I move away, the hashtag for this year's convention is hashtag ACB20. So if you're out there in social media land wanting to talk about the convention, hopefully good things, hashtag ACB20, join our Twitter at ACB National, and look for us on Facebook at the American Council of the Blind Official. So excellent stuff. Advocacy. That's the spine of the organization. It's what we're known for. It's really what we've made our mark doing. COVID-19 presented an opportunity in this area, believe it or not. And it deals with the whole issue of voting and all of the states practically wanting to move to vote by mail. This presented an opportunity for ACB and for Clark Rackful, our Director of Advocacy and Governmental Affairs, as well as Claire Stanley, our Advocacy and Outreach Specialist, to work with individuals within the organization to identify states where we were not likely going to be able to, as blind people, independently vote remotely. So you saw us join in a first file a complaint with the Department of Justice regarding New York, then join in a lawsuit with other disability groups in the state of New York, as well as legal action in Idaho that we supported as well. So there's a ton of work, and what's ironic, a little ironic about it, is that we had already done some work in this area in West Virginia. And an agreement, actually a change in legislation in the law in West Virginia was announced in February of this year, before COVID-19, and we led that effort. A ton of work has been done in this area, and I'd like to thank publicly my team, but also our individual members in the state of New York, as well as in Idaho, for raising these issues and joining in and saying, you know, if the state is going to move to vote by mail, we need to find a way to be able to vote and have a private and secure ballot as well. Finally, I think I'd like to talk for just a minute about partnerships. And this is an area that kind of cuts across several of our steering committees. COVID-19 provided us a unique opportunity to deepen a relationship with a company that many of you are aware of, Be My Eyes. For several years, Be My Eyes has been providing a very useful service to the blind and visually impaired community through an app, being able to utilize the camera, and there literally tens of thousands of volunteers to assist blind people in finding or identifying objects, assisting them with navigation. COVID-19 allowed for the two organizations, Acb and Be My Eyes, to talk through what this relationship might look like. And I'm very pleased to say this evening that we are on the Be My Eyes platform, and we have been since late April. We are available to take calls Monday through Friday, noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. Please give us a call. It's being staffed currently by 4 Acb staff members during that 3-hour period, and it's likely that that period we will extend those hours here in the future. Lastly, the newest relationship that we've created is with Procter Gamble. And this is really neat from my perspective. COVID-19, again, played a role here. We were able to do some outreach with them regarding the challenges that the blind and visually impaired community has been having in purchasing products, be it hand sanitizer, toilet paper, paper towels, other things. Having them delivered, having them constantly be out of stock, having to go to the store, not wanting to go to the store to pick all this stuff up. Clark Rackfall and Tony Stevens actually have led this initiative, and Procter & Gamble has agreed quite loudly that this is an issue, that blind and visually impaired people need these sorts of things during these times, and they need to have them at the ready. And so we, Acb, have worked with 6 NIB agencies around the country to pack these items as well as deliver these items to the impacted populations within their communities. So Orlando, New York, Seattle, San Francisco, New Orleans, and Cincinnati. And these are areas where NIB agencies have expressed a great interest in helping to get these products out to the blind community. And we can't thank NIB and these agencies enough. And we are very pleased that Procter & Gamble has really stepped up and really wants to engage our community. And this is a relationship that is new, but that has a ton of possibility. And they're interested in working with us in other areas as well. So COVID-19 has provided us with a whole set of opportunities. We've been, I think, equal to the task in looking at those opportunities, taking lemons and making them into lemonade. I can't say how proud I am of our members, the level of engagement, the amount of phone calls that we get from folks that are just happy to be part of this organization. So proud of that. I feel like we have turned a corner in this organization in what the future can bring to the American Council of the Blind, and want you to go along with us. It's going to be a wild ride. It's been a fun ride so far. There's going to be a lot more fun to have in the future. And please come with us, come with us as we journey down this path to the future. Back to you, Dan.